It's great to talk to you, and we haven't had a chance to get your breakdown, if you will, recently. But it's great to catch up, and certainly the Bears are in a really nice place. They've won 4 games in a row. All of a sudden, they're back in this season. They're achieving some things, but they're doing it in less than overly impressive fashion. They certainly won their game last week against the Saints, in part because the Saints are a pretty bad team, and they didn't necessarily throw the ball especially well, but they have been stopping the run and running the football, and that'll help you win.
And taking the ball away.
Oh, yeah.
At record numbers. And that will help you win more than any other way possible. As much as all the attention coming into the season, guys, all obviously about Caleb and his development. I mean, the thing that has developed is this offensive line, especially with Theo at left tackle, has really come together. That was an impressive performance. That's not the best defensive line in football, but they're not bad in New Orleans. And I thought they got pushed around pretty good. And all 3 backs, obviously DeAndre had a big game, but the rookie was really good. And I just thought it was an impressive performance up front. And that's what Ben wanted from the very beginning. He wanted to create an offensive line like he had in Detroit, a run game like he had in Detroit. And I thought for the first time this year, it really looked like that. Maybe even against Washington, too. I mean, 2 weeks in a row now, you've seen impressive performances on the ground. And that's what jumps out to me right now when I watch this win streak and I see this team that's developing right now.
Brian, on Monday, I believe it was Ben Johnson said about Theo Benedict, he was inconsistent to say the least. And then yesterday, he singled him out along with every other member of the offensive line as far as being somebody who is doing their job in the running game. Is it just a case of a young rookie, essentially offensive tackle that may be better at one thing than the other? In the running game, he's fine. With pass protection, still struggling.
I agree with that. That's a fair assessment. And, look, you got to consider the level of competition that he is coming from. And now he's going up against the best athletes in the world out there on the edge. And he does struggle at times. He gets himself in bad positions. But in the run game, he stays on his feet and he stays attached. And him and Tooney are starting to create a pretty good left side, along with the tight ends. You can't talk about this run game without talking about the tight ends, because that's the direction of this whole league. It's how many tight ends can you get on the field? Can you protect your quarterback? Can you seal the edge? Can you extend the gaps that a defense has to defend another gap? Because you've got 3 tight ends over there, or 2 tight ends and a fullback, Durham Smythe, wherever he's lined up. Like it's really, that's a big part of it right now, the strong side run game. But Theo is staying on his feet in the run game, and he's staying attached to the defensive end or the tackles and the combo blocks up to the second level. I think that's, pretty rapid improvement considering, I don't know, he started 3 games in a row now.
Yep.
They've won all 3 games.
Yep.
So, I think he's developing at a pretty good rate. And I think, that's kind of you could have easily stayed with Braxton and said, okay, we almost like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. But Ben saw something in Theo. And so he's riding him right now. And I think young players, you kind of have to get through some of the sticking parts in pass protection. But I think they got to be thrilled about how he's playing in the run game.
Brian, we talked about Kevin Byard, who you know, and we were worried about where he was at the beginning of the year in terms of his speed and tackling and everything else. And he has just become one of the centerpiece guys in his ability to read things and get picks and just be a kind of an automatic takeaway artist. It's been pretty spectacular to see his improvement.
Well, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk to Kevin. I mean, he's a super smart guy. He's a complete pro. I thought that he'd slowed down. It looked like he lost step, but then he made that play from center field against Rattler on Sunday over the top. And that's a lot of ground to cover. He took it the right angle. Some guys take the wrong angle, and they don't make that play. He took the right angle and, trusted his eyes. But he's led this league in interceptions before. He's at the top right now. I feel like they've got him in the right spot. Jaquan is kind of moving around, letting him play more center field, which is really his position. But I've known Kevin since he was at Middle Tennessee State. He did the same thing there. He did the same thing in Tennessee when he was there. Led the league in interceptions when he, I think the defense fits him right now. And can he go down to the slot and cover Amon-Ra St. Brown? No, I wouldn't put him there. But, he's in a spot right now where I think it really showcases, the amount of experience that he has.
When you watch the Bears' defensive line, the pass rush was created last Sunday with, I think, 3 of the 4 sacks were on blitzes. I wonder what you feel about the interior and then the edge guys being able to get to the quarterback themselves and how well they're doing overall as a unit.
Well, Montez, he's just a rare specimen, just from a size standpoint. You just don't see guys that are 6'6", 275. He's not a great pass rusher. But if the quarterback holds the ball long enough, Montez will affect it like he did last week. Javon, I thought, played better inside. You need an inside push. You'd rather have a guy that can push from the inside almost more than a guy that can turn the corner. Montez doesn't have that sort of flexibility to dip and bend and some of the things the elite pass rushers does. But he's got size, and that does count for something. But look, in this league right now, you've got to heat quarterbacks up. And if you're trying to get there with 4, unless you're Denver, unless you're one of these elite pass rushing teams, it's hard. You've got to find other ways to get either a free hitter or make the back stay in and block or, get a 5th rusher somehow. And that's where they're at right now. And, it was effective last week.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the way that Dennis Allen has coached this defense. The first game of the year, they obviously kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter. The second game of the year, they got steamrolled. And since that point, he's done like an excellent job of either confusing the quarterback as to where the rush is coming from. They came off a bye week where basically they had a scheme advantage in terms of fixing their run defense. It's pretty extraordinary how good a coach this guy is.
It's all in the details. I mean, he's just a detailed man and detailed coach. But I mean, honestly, the worst game Dallas has played all year was against Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're putting up 40, routinely, and Dak can be a candidate to be the MVP of the league, and they struggled. So I mean, I do think that coming out of the bye and going to Washington, was important. But we all know how that game finished. If they get a handoff at the end of the game, Chicago doesn't have a 4-game win streak. So, but that, look, you take advantage of mistakes, and Nahshon was right there. So he's been a good find, Nahshon over there at that right corner. He's really stepped up and played really well. It's great to get Kyler back in there, because he's, if you don't have a good nickel, you're going to give up big plays. I mean, that position right now is as valuable as any cornerback position, and he's exceptional at what he does.
We're talking with Audacy NFL insider Brian Baldinger, and Insider Calls are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Brian, Caleb Williams had his worst game of the season last Sunday, but he has been good at other times. The inconsistency is something they're trying to eliminate. If you had to assess him based on what he needs to do better this Sunday against the Ravens, how would you start?
Well, I'd start with the way the play is supposed to start. Like, take the damn handoff. Or the snap. Like, the ball's on the ground. I don't know how many times it was on the ground last week. 2 times at least, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get a clean snap. Like, I don't know what happened with Dahlman and him, if the ball came up or if it just fell. I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell. But, it starts with the snap. And then he's just missing too many open receivers. I mean, you can look at the completion percentage and go, okay, 61%. But it's the way that he's missing guys. With clean pockets and good vision. Like, he shouldn't be missing those throws. And too many throws are either sailing or bouncing. And so if I said there's one thing, Caleb, it's one thing when he was under duress, like he was a year ago, and he's holding the ball for 7 seconds and whatever. Like, it's better this year. It's better. And so he has to be better. He's got to be, there's going to be throws you're going to miss just because you've got an obstructed view, you're getting hit, the pressure's on you, you're going to miss some. But I just think he's missing more throws than he needs to when he's got a clean pocket or good vision. And I would say that's what I'm looking. If there's a next step to Caleb that I want to see, that's got to be it.
Yeah, it's well said, because Ben Johnson was asked, yesterday about getting the ball to the tight end, the 10th overall pick, and he kind of said, well, we've got a lot of guys that we got to get the ball to. He basically said we're searching for completions, that they need to just complete passes, period, end of story. And one of those guys is the tight end, but there are plenty of guys.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the good thing about Ben is I don't think he's sugarcoating anything right there. He's telling you the quarterback's got to play better. He needs to complete more passes. And if he was trying to complete passes by laying on his back, that's one thing. But that's not the case. There's some pressure, but he's got great athletic ability to avoid a lot of that. But even when he does clear the suit, the throws look. Sometimes, I don't want to use this word because it's a negative word, but he looks careless at times, and there's a thing about setting your feet and making a throw, and you got to go back to fundamentals. You got to harp on it. There's a reason why, pick a guy. Drake May is completing 75% of his passes. You watch him do what Caleb's doing and watch him set his feet to make the throw. Like it can't just be this backstreet ball that he's had success with in college and somewhat in the pros. There's a place for fundamentals at that position to complete passes that you should be completing.
Brian, when you look at the Ravens' challenge for the Bears, it all comes down to whether or not Lamar Jackson will or won't play and what version of him you will get if he does. Do you have a gut feeling? You know how this goes with coaches and the reticence to talk about injuries, but he was on the field yesterday trying to go.
They're 1-5, and they're deep in the crypt, and it's going to be hard to come out. And the only way they can come out is if Lamar plays. He's the only chance they have. Defensively, they played better in the last game, but the offense is just stuck in quicksand right now. And it wasn't great when he was in there, but it's going to be better if you got a league MVP in there. And they're going to complete passes, and they're going to score points. I got to believe that the only chance the Ravens, if they go to 1-6, it's over. Especially if Cincinnati continues to improve. So I believe he's going to play, and he has to play. No matter what percentage he is, he has to be on the field at this point. And I expect to see him out there this weekend.
The Bears are on a 4-game winning streak, and they are 6.5-point dogs going into Baltimore. And there are a lot of Bear fans that are kind of upset about it. But the reality is Vegas is just trying to get a straight line. They're just trying to get you to wager, and they feel that more people believe that will happen than Bear fans are angry about it.
Well, I don't really look, if you just, the most important stat is takeaways, right? And so the Bears are top of the list. They're plus 11, which is outrageous. All right, it's one of the reasons why they're on this 4-game win streak. And Baltimore is second to last. They're -7. There's an 18 turnover differential in 7 weeks. That's over 2 a game. Like if they're +2 in this game against Baltimore, they're going to win the game. I mean, you can just take it to the bank. They're not going to lose the game. But look, so what? They make it Chicago a dog this weekend because it's on the road. That's 3 points right there. And then they think Lamar's going to play, so that's another 3. So that's what it is. But that doesn't matter. It's about stacking wins. And you got a team that's down. You don't want them to believe that they can come out of this crypt that they're in. Just throw dirt on them as early as you can in this game. Take the ball down. They have had trouble stopping the run in almost every game. Go down and run the ball like they did last week. And let them know that they're in for a dogfight, that they're physically better than you up front. Because that's what the message from Harbaugh is going to be to his team. You're going to let this team come in and beat you at the line of scrimmage. This is what we're known for. I mean, as long as Baltimore has been in this league since 1996. They've always been known for defense, and they've been terrible. So I'm sure that's the message to John is don't you dare let DeAndre Swift run for 100 yards for his 3rd straight week in a row. You can see the messaging on the board right now to what Baltimore is going to say to how to win this game.
Great insight, Brian. Really thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Enjoy it, man.